Hello and welcome to the JB&M Sports Fanatic channel. Thank you for joining me for this video. And we have some breaking news. Adam Vinatieri, the NFL's all-time scoring leader, announced on the Pat McAfee show that he's retiring after 24 seasons in the NFL. That's right, 24 seasons in the NFL. That white beard right there is not just for show. He has been in the game for a very long time. I remember the first Madden NFL football game I ever played on going back on the original PlayStation, and he was the kicker then for the Patriots. I remember going way back then, but I mean, he has been with New England for a very long time. And so in this video, I'm going to cover the life of Adam Vinatieri in terms of just a little bit about his background and more so his NFL career and timeline, and some of the accomplishments that he was able to achieve. But before I get into that, I'll go ahead and start off by going over his career in terms of statistics. Well, coming out of college, he went undrafted out of South Dakota State, and he was eventually picked up by the Patriots as an undrafted free agent, going back to 1996. And that is when he first started his career with the Patriots, and he remained with the Patriots from 1996 all the way through 2005. And then in 2006, he signed with the Indianapolis Colts, and he remained with them up until 2019. Last year, the Colts made the decision to go to get younger at that position. You know, Vinatieri, he had a little bit of struggles toward the end, but a tremendous, tremendous career. Let's see. And throughout his career with the Patriots, he played for 10 years, 160 games, and with the Colts, 14 years, and that was 205 games. And so in terms of his field goal attempts, he made a total of, throughout his entire career, he has made, let's see, yeah, oh wow, this is a lot. He has made 599 field goals out of 715 attempts, putting him at 83.8%. So basically 84% for his career. And so that right there is fantastic, to say the least. So definitely, there's been some, a few times where he, struggled in terms of like kicking in the 70 percentage, but throughout most of his career, it's been about 80%, a few times even in the 90%. And so just fantastic all around. Some of his better years in the league that he made the Pro Bowl was back in 2002 with the Patriots, where he was 90%, 27 for 30. 2004, 94% basically, where he was 31 for 33. And so he's had some tremendous years for in this league. He handled kickoff duties throughout his time, all throughout with the Patriots, and up until 2008, he handled kickoff duties. Up in 2009, they decided to relieve him of that. And so go ahead and get into the discussion about the life of Adam Vinatieri. Oh man, he was born December 28th of 1972. And so, yeah, considered by many to be, one of the best kickers in the league, definitely the most clutch in my opinion. And so Hall of Famer for sure, no doubt about it. Many of the rings that Tom Brady, was able to acquire, especially early in his career, Adam Vinatieri came in big. We can go into the specifics, and as I go down this timeline, we will hit on some of those. But obviously that first Super Bowl that Brady won in his career, going back to the 2001 season, against the greatest show on turf, the Rams, Kurt Warner and company, him, Marshall Faulk. And so the Patriots, they got out to a good lead, but the Rams are coming back. And so I remember John Madden, basically saying that the Patriots had taken a knee and go to overtime, but Tom Brady driving it down and setting it up for Adam Vinatieri for the game-winning field goal, in which that would not have even been possible if in the game that's remembered as the Tuck game, if Adam Vinatieri wouldn't have came through with that clutch field goal as well. And so he really came through. And then, against the Carolina Panthers as well, that Super Bowl for the Patriots, he came in clutch there as well. And then, against the Eagles as well, he played a role in that too. And so, yeah, he's definitely been as clutch as it gets in the biggest of stages. I mean, that's what really separates him from a lot of kickers, honestly. Because I remember around 2000, I'll say about 2005, 2006, around that time frame, there was a lot of talk about who's the best kicker, whether it was Adam Vinatieri or Mike Vanderjagt. And, Mike Vanderjagt against the Steelers, the Colts were, I think they were 15-1 or 14-2 against the Steelers, who would go on to I believe they went on to win the Super Bowl that year with Jerome Bettis, yes. But Mike Vanderjagt missed the field goal with the game on the line, and so but Adam Vinatieri, he was not the type of kicker to let his team down. He went out there and he was all around clutch, and so that's what I'm going to always remember about Adam Vinatieri throughout his career. And so, but to get back to his timeline. When he was 5 years old, his family moved to Rapid City, South Dakota, and as a child, he struggled to read and enrolled in classes for children with learning disabilities. He attended Central High School in Rapid City and was a letterman in football, wrestling, basketball, soccer, and track. In football, he earned first-team All-State honors as a senior and graduated from Central High School in 1991 before starting as a kicker. Vinatieri was a quarterback and middle linebacker. When asked why he no longer played one of those positions, he replied, "He's 6 feet, 200 pounds, and unfortunately, the linebacker in college aren't that small, and neither are the quarterbacks." So that's interesting, huh? To know that he actually played not just linebacker, but middle linebacker and quarterback before being a kicker. That is really interesting. And so in 1996, he was signed by the Patriots as an undrafted free agent to be the place kicker. But in order to win the job, he had to compete with 17-year vet Matt Bohr. And so at first, it seemed like Matt Bohr was going to be the kicker heading into the season. He seemed to be someone that was in good standing with Bill Parcells. But however, Parcells ultimately chose to go with Adam Vinatieri simply due to the fact that Bohr was no longer going to be handling kickoff duties, and so Vinatieri would be able to do both, and that's what really set him up with this opportunity to get his career started back in 1996. And so that is really interesting because, many times you see teams sign kickers and you're like, oh, they've already got an established kicker, and then you'll be surprised, like that's how they get the new kicker that comes in and becomes ultimately, like the long-term kicker because, it's just sometimes, you have the stronger leg, and so that's what it matters. That's what matters most to teams, someone that can do multiple positions, rather than have to bring on someone else just to do kickoffs. So certainly understand that. And then fast forward to 2004, Vinatieri, and I will state, I believe in 1998, he also was kicking in the Super Bowl versus the Packers that the Patriots played with Drew Bledsoe. Although the Packers did win, he did kick in that game for the Patriots, so I'll throw that in there as well. But in 2004, he led the NFL in scoring with 141 points, scoring 31 for 33 on field goals, and was perfect 48 for 48 on extra points. And let's say in the game against the St. Louis Rams, Vinatieri scored 16 points on 4 field goals and 4 extra points and threw a 4-yard touchdown pass to receiver Troy Brown. Now that's going back. And a fake field goal attempt. And so that gave him a career passer rating of 122.9. And then that same year against Buffalo in Week 10, he scored a career high 17 points on 5 field goals and 2 extra points. And he would go on to score a field goal and 3 extra points in the Patriots' 24-21 victory over the Eagles in that Super Bowl there. And then by 2005, Adam Vinatieri, finished his time with the Patriots in 2005. He had kicked 18 game-winning field goals with less than a minute remaining. It doesn't get any more clutch than that. 18 game-winning field goals with less than a minute remaining, including the postseason at the conclusion of 2005. Not even talking about his entire career, just at that point in his career. He had a career field goal percentage of 81.2, so basically 82%. On his field goals, and which is the 5th highest in NFL history. In his time in New England, his community involvement involved helping Christian athletes, DARE and the government's Highway Safety Bureau. He was a spokesperson for the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Rhode Island's teen anti-smoking contest, and also appeared in commercials for Boston-based pizza Papa Gino's. Vinatieri finished his 10 seasons with the Patriots as the team's all-time leading scorer with 1,156 points. That record was surpassed by Vinatieri's replacement, however, Stephen Gostkowski in 2014, who's now currently with Titans. And his jersey number 4 was not reissued for the next 14 seasons until Jarrett Stidham wore it in 2019. Interesting. So Stidham's the first person to wear his jersey since he has left New England. Yeah, they probably could have went ahead and retired that. But yeah, and so in March of 2006, after the 2005 season with the Patriots, and they opted not to franchise tag Vinatieri as they did the year before, allowing him to become a free agent. He had visits with the Packers, but set on joining a team that was either warm weather or played inside of a dome. And since the Colts play inside of a dome, he ended up choosing the Indianapolis Colts, replacing kicker Mike Vanderjagt, who I alluded to earlier, who signed with the Dallas Cowboys. And so Vinatieri was signed to a 5-year contract and received a $3.5 million signing bonus. In November of 2007, during the 2007 season, Vinatieri appeared in all 16 games. There was 23 of 29 on field goals and 49 of 51 on point after touchdowns. This season marked his 12th consecutive 100-point season. That means you're getting points for your teams. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of teams that would love to have this type of production from their kicker. Just ask the Buccaneers and the Chargers over the years. Like kicking definitely is important. Throw the Bears in there too. And so he kicked his 20th career game-winning field goal in the final minute of the fourth quarter or overtime in three with 3 seconds remaining against the Kansas City Chiefs in November of 2007. In the postseason that year, Vinatieri extended his NFL career postseason record in field goals, 41, and attempts, 50, and points, 172, and consecutive scoring in consecutive games scored with 22. In July of 2009, Vinatieri had surgery on his right hip, and it basically elevated to a nagging injury, but the coach expected that he would be ready for the season. However, he struggled early in the season and complained of knee soreness. The doctor found loose cartilage in his MRI, and Vinatieri underwent thoracoscopic surgery during the coach's bye week and was expected to miss 4 to 8 weeks while recovering. So punter Matt McAfee, who also is the one who announced his show was where we announced the retirement, had to fill in. And the Colts did sign former Baltimore kicker Matt Stover to replace him. And so fast forward to 2014. On January 11, 2014, against the Patriots in the divisional round, Vinatieri became the first player in NFL history to convert 50 field goals in the postseason. And he signed a 2-year extension with the Colts. And then fast forward again, fast forward to about 2017. On September 10 of 2017, Vinatieri started his 22nd season in the NFL in the game against the Los Angeles Rams. In Week 5, Vinatieri went 4 for 4, hitting field goals from 23, 38, and 52 yards, followed by a 51-yard game winner and a 26-23 overtime win over the San Francisco 49ers, earning him the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week honors. And so, and then fast forward until September of 2019. So September 8th, 2019, Vinatieri started his 24th season in the NFL. I mean, just to make it to 24 years, that is out of this world. 24 years in the NFL in a game against the Los Angeles Chargers. He had one of, his worst games in his career, as he went 1 for 3 on field goal attempts and 1 for 2 on extra points. In that game, he became the 3rd oldest player in NFL history to play in a game and surpassed Gary Anderson for second most games played in NFL history. I think Gary Anderson played like 23 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. Most of those with the Chiefs. The next week against the Tennessee Titans, he missed 2 more extra points. In Week 3 against the Atlanta Falcons, he rebounded and went a perfect 3 for 3 on extra points and 2 for 2 on field goals, including a 49-yarder, which hit the lower crossbar and barely went over. So at that point, age certainly has caught up with him at this point, struggling, barely hit a 49er. So that means 50-yarders were out of the question at this point. And so certainly understand why he had to wrap up his career towards the end of that. And so, but with all that being said, on December 9th of 2019, the Colts placed Vinatieri on IR after he underwent season-ending knee surgery. And Vinatieri finished the year with career lows in field goal and extra point completion percentage at 68% and 78.6%, respectively. But with that being said, it was a tremendous career. One that, if you're a special teamer, you're definitely wanting a career like that. If you're a coach, you're certainly very appreciative of what he's done, what he's meant for the team. If you're a quarterback, you trust that if you set him up in position, he'll go out there and he will come through, deliver in the clutch. And so certainly someone that had the utmost respect from the players in the locker room, fans around. You couldn't help but just, admire what he did for his team and in the community. So certainly Adam Vinatieri will continue to be missed in the NFL, and his presence. And so certainly a tremendous career, and looking forward to seeing what he's able to accomplish now that he's, officially retired after 24 seasons in the NFL. But thank you so much for joining me for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, as more news continues to drop, you can be sure to find it here. So thanks again for watching, and see you guys next time.